Hello everyone, this is DD_Retro1 here, and today we're going to be taking a look at yet another animatronic by SingSong, which is more than just a factory, it's an actual company as well. If you haven't seen my other videos on some really cool SingSong pieces, I recommend going to check it out. You can actually find some of their products at Lowe's this year. However, I would say this guy, but there's 3 of them there. This piece unfortunately went unreleased and nobody picked it up. But there's a lot to get into with this thing. So you couldn't already tell, it's a Christmas piece and it's a elf stack animatronic. So there's 3 elves and there are actually some servo functions here. So you have the bottom elf, which is a static, the middle elf, his head tilts side to side, and the top elf has servo eyes and mouth motion. And then the arms move as well. So basically, once he is activated, the arms open up and then you see the elves. And there is a stock video floating around of this guy. There I go again, this guy, right? There's 3 of them. With this piece, there's something that is more intended for an effect that's not shown here. You're not supposed to see the bottom 2 elves at all. The arms don't come across as really posable, so at some point I might try and adjust them to where you don't see the bottom 2, but for now I'm just going to leave it as I found it. But yeah, so these guys are 3D printed, as typically is done these days. And the bottom 2 elves have the same head. The eye graphic is just a piece of paper adhered on the surface. And then this one, since he has servo eyes, they're the actual plastic eyeballs with the paper on the inside, like Jimmy used to do. This seems like I want to say that it's like a soft PVC, but it really kind of comes across more on the latex side. But in this case, it's actually hard to tell because of the way it's painted. It might be more on the soft PVC side just because of like how the areas look that are missing paint. But I'm not entirely sure. I usually am quite sure. But with these, it's kind of ambiguous. So this piece would have probably had a retail price of $2.99 because there is a lot that goes into it. I will say that this like Santa Claus fabric that they're wearing is very, very nice. There's a lot of weight to it. It's really nice material. And when I mean there's a lot of weight, there actually is so much weight. This whole thing weighs a lot. I actually had to scoot it along the floor, only because of all the different things that could come undone, but just because of how much mass there is. So those are, so this is very nice fabric. And then this fabric, it's kind of like the dancing chicken I have. It's that same kind of material. You can see there's legs coming from the top guy that he's holding, and the middle guy has legs. The bottom guy does not have legs. But the shoes are massive. These boots are huge compared to the other pieces that I've been showing. And there is a lot of little detail in there. So there's several little ways that the cost adds up for this piece. Ironically, I think it's kind of creepy. I think the biggest thing with that is just how wide open the eyes are. There's kind of that uncanny valley effect going on. I personally would try and revise it to where the upper eyelid was, a little lower, a little more closed to give more of like a relaxed look. I get that there's the element of surprise, but at the same time, they're just kind of creepy. So that might have been a factor, as well as the price point into why they didn't get made. But yeah, so it's a really neat concept. If the Uncanny Valley thing was too much, you could honestly repurpose it for a Halloween thing, kind of like what Home Depot has done with PAC in the Clown Stack and Zombie Stack. but this is definitely higher end than those pieces. There's no puppet mouth stuff going on. Although only one head has animation, it's nice animation. There's two things that are technically going to be missing from this video. The first thing is the glasses. When I received it, the glasses were missing. They were just regular Santa glasses. The one in the stock video has darker shades, which was kind of not the best decision because you can barely tell in the video that the eyes move, let alone are servo. So that's why it's probably going to be a surprise to a lot of you that have seen that video that there are servo eyes. The other thing is the mouth is not working. It is stripped bad. It makes an insanely loud noise when it gets power, but this would be the typical range of motion if it was working, something like that. So I have the mouth unplugged, which is unfortunate, but it's better than the loud noise. I'll try and get the original glasses for this guy, but if I can't do that, this guy, I'm so conditioned to just doing that. For this piece, I'm gonna try and get the original glasses, but if not, I could just easily find some similar looking ones to put on there. Because the whole gimmick is the elves are pretending to be Santa. Just one, fully grown, fully sized person. And then it's like, haha, just kidding. There's two more of us under here. But yeah, there's not too much else to say. There are a couple phrases, but ultimately the same music will pretty much play each time. And the only real difference with the phrases is at the beginning. So I'll just play one and we'll go from there. And they have this set up to where there's like so many different combinations you could plug the eye wires into, because there's two plugs for the eyes, and then you can flip them forward and backward and they still go on the connector, and then they're the exact same connector. So there's so many ways to do it. I got this combination finally and it works. However, sometimes when the eyes look too far this way, they just shoot back to the middle, which I guess adds something to it, but it's a little concerning and maybe a little creepy for some. But I'm gonna go ahead and activate them now. Yeah, there they are. There's a lot of sound in that speaker. It really fills the room. As you can see, sometimes the eyes kind of stutter when they move that direction too much. So either that's just how it is, or I have the two eye things backwards still, and the up and down is really the left and right, and vice versa. But it really doesn't seem like it's moving too far out of range or anything like that. So we'll do it again here.
Welcome to the North Pole.
Something that is a little creepy is sometimes the eyes get a little out of sync. This one will sometimes move a little more one way or the other than the other eye does, so that's a little creepy. But I don't remember if there's just 2 phrases or 3.
Ho, ho, ho! It's the most
Well, I guess we'll do it one more time. You can see just how tall they are. They're about as tall as the collapsible Giles back there. Yeah, guys, let me know what you think of this piece. Again, a little on the creepy side in some ways, but you could definitely revise it a bit and reduce that. I think it's a really cool concept. The materials for 2025 are very nice. I could definitely see why this was one of the higher price pointed pieces compared to some of the others. But yeah, I'm really glad I was able to help preserve this piece of history and showcase this for you guys. Comment down below and share if you think that this piece or any of these other pieces should have been released for 2025. Like I said, there are some SingSong pieces that make production there at Lowe's, and if you like what you're seeing here, go support them. And you can get the 10-foot scarecrow, 7.5-foot scarecrow. There's a gravedigger, a witch. There's a lot of characters. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.